a scion of many worlds. I, E, I, F, B, C, T, D. Jasper could only smile as Isabella slowly went through most of the eye test with her face relaxed and not bunched up in a giant squint. Better could be done, but laser precision would be needed. This was good. This was very good. The fact he had to use boron, lead, silica, and skip the sodium to make the glass heat resistant on a scale it could be used in kitchenware but not so easily melted. Lime, magnesium, and aluminum to really reinforce it against heat. Sand, shale, lead ore, limestone, dolomite, and bauxite. A big pile of ingredients to get all the chemicals and minerals involved, but worth it. The axiom allowed him to mold it together into a singular, perfectly clear circle of glass. It allowed him to reshape it to modify how it refracted the light. Sure, there was axiom bullshit going on, but all it did was skip the heating and setting process. All it did was shape things. The goal was to create a more mundane miracle, something repeatable and teachable. All right, I just need a moment to... Jasper trails off as Isabella had grabbed the lens and was refusing to let it be taken away. She turns to him and looks at him through it. "Don't take this from me," she begs quietly. "I'm making more of it so you have many instead of one." He assures her, and her grip slowly relaxes. "You'll be all right. The world has been hidden from you and your family for far too long as is. I won't have it stay hidden much longer. Your eyes are many smaller eyes working together," she says in an awed tone. "Compound eyes. Many insects have them. Earthani are just really big bugs," he says as he places a hand over a small box full of his ingredients. The lens in his claws is perfect, and the stones rise up and begin to meld together, smoothing over and turning transparent. It's mostly the silica in the sand as two lenses pour out. The iron next to the box shifts and melds against the two circular lenses and join with a little bridge bump. He hands her back the lens and has tiny sheaths of leather along the ear portions and little pads to the sides of the nose for comfort. "I do not recommend setting them on fire, but most of these are heat resistant," he says, gently putting the glasses on her. She blinks once, twice, and puts down the lens as she starts to look around in wonder. She looks up at him again and slowly lifts her hand to his head. He kneels down to accommodate whatever she's going to do, and a shiver runs down his spine as she gently pinches his antenna and runs her hand up it to watch the hairs shift back up. "Try looking out the window to the left," he suggests, and she turns to behold the splash of colors beyond. She stands up and walks towards it to look into one of the central gardens. He slowly stands with as little noise as possible as she starts to sob. He walks up to stand behind her and places a gentle claw on her shoulder. She turns around to hug him as the weeping grows stronger. She starts to babble. "And there's just so much in so many different colors and hues. Isabella," he tries. "So much was just not there. Isabella," he says a little louder. "You're not taking them away, are you? I'd like to teach you how to make more yourself," he says gently, and she stares up at him, her eyes huge behind her glasses. "Would you like to learn?" The scream of yes was unnecessary and over the top, but he can forgive the enthusiasm and eagerness. With the 3 countrywide crises solved, Jasper has a couple of days to sort things out and relax. And sitting down to walk someone through some textbooks and show off some axiom tricks that he had to master and remaster a few times is downright restful. Keeps him busy without much to worry about. The flying hospital was doing well. With the rich and powerful forcing their way to the front, they were inadvertently getting themselves tested and assuring the lower classes, and less fortunate that the hospital was something they could trust. So when it moved to the poorer areas to help out there was far less hesitation than would be expected, a blessing. Most of what was going on was a purging process to clear out infections and the cleaning of old wounds so they could heal properly. but there were still the occasional soul rushed in at a dead sprint due to a recent injury. The teaching goes well. He explains not only what the glass is made of, but what each piece does. How the trace amounts of other things in the melted sand makes the resulting glass stronger and clearer. How shaping it bends the light to accommodate her eyes. How it's normally done without axiom and how to do it with it. She pays near manic attention to things, and he has to remind her to calm down at many points. The books and supplies are hers to do with as she wishes. She tucks the books away like holy artifacts and quickly starts to work at copying her own lenses. His budding optometrist eager to help her family and then make good money selling glasses to those who need it. Also, apparently, crystal clear glass is very rare, so the closest she's seen to glasses like the ones she now has are polished crystals or gems. A clever, but expensive and labor-intensive solution. The Goldlands will have another export, or they would if the Undaunted weren't coming. Still, she has had an emotional day and confides in him that she honestly hadn't expected him to follow through on his promise, that it was just empty platitudes from someone speaking grandly and not bothering to keep track of their vows. Apparently it was a fairly common problem with her family. They could barely see, and as such, people thought they could get away with far more than they should have even considered. His open distaste for how badly she's been treated brought about a fresh bout of tears, and she finally wore herself out. He tucks her into bed and ensures that the glasses are on the table beside her for when she wakes up. "Is it all like that?" Zavia asks him as he leaves Isabella's guest room. Interestingly, she's more subtle to his senses when she's not actively invisible. Something she had clearly noticed as she popped into his testing and making the glasses more than once. She was still testing him, but the hostility had faded away for the most part. Not always. Not everyone has a hard life where they feel like they've been ground into the dirt. Some people thrive under the pressure and do well for themselves, but life has a tendency to grind people down. "You seem all right?" Some people prefer to take it as a challenge than a burden, which means that the endless grind is less an inevitable fate than an obstacle to overcome. "So the world is what you make of it?" Exactly. The worst day of your life can break you or make you into something better. A failure can crush you, or can excite you as another way to achieve your goals. Is that what your Undaunted are about? Mostly, the core of the Undaunted is about looking at an impossible problem, at a challenge that all sense and reason says cannot be done, and facing it regardless. How so? The Undaunted are small, very, very small, yet refuses to back down. Really? Most armies on this world could easily outnumber the Undaunted, but you've seen what I, a single Undaunted, am capable of. A challenge, she mutters to herself as she considers. She straightens up a little and her expression shifts. She just came to a fairly powerful conclusion. "So, is this whole world, is all of Lacron just a test for you?" "Somewhat. I've explained my entire origin to you, haven't I?" He asks her and she sighs. "It's nonsense, though. There's so much that doesn't make sense." "I'm aware. What kind of grieving mother puts the mind of a total stranger into a copy of her dead child and launches them onto another world? It's madness. As far as I can tell, it is. Stop being so blasé about this. It's weird. I've long moved past the sheer need to figure it out and am just taking it as it comes now. I have more to worry about than the pointless what wases of the past." "Nonsense. You've been looking into the sources of Lacron up and down, writing it all down and conferring with everyone you think might be able to help figure it out. Lost colonies, pirates and monsters, and mistaken identities. It goes every which way." "That it does. It's more of a curiosity. I want to solve Lacron's problems, and learning where they were all born from might help with that. But it's of less importance than outright going out to solve problems. Like breaking the drought by opening the dams and negotiating all the food deliveries in Greenstone and Miru. The payments of metals to the gold lands and giving the mountain clans direction so they're not causing problems. Things are stable. For now, Jasper says, cracking his neck. There's only a short while until something happens, so I'm relaxing while I can. Relaxing? You just taught someone how to craft delicate glass lenses to a master's degree after crafting them yourself to effectively cure a woman of blindness. All I did was follow written instructions and then show someone the same. A very easy and rewarding task. Still, you are right. For now, things are stable and comparatively relaxing. A bit of exercise and good eating and rest, and these will be a good few. He pauses and looks around to see if Murphy's taking the bait. Why are you doing that? Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and at the worst possible moment. It can also be very dramatic, just waiting for you to open your mouth and screw things up. Zavaya outright scoffs at the idea. Where did the big scary moth monster go? Why are you quivering at a harmless little... She begins before the Star Seeker Nagasha comes tearing around the corner at fast, but silent slither her face is a textbook definition of terrified. Right, I was listening for footsteps. My mistake. Jasper realizes with a snap of his claws. He then shakes out his hand as snapping claws really hurts. They're a lot harder and sharper than fingers. You really think that... Lord Blue, there's danger. Told you. Jasper notes patting Zavaya on the shoulder before facing the Nagasha. Where am I needed? The Grand Midwives have come to us for support. They need you. Odd that it wasn't Lady Allure who came to find me. She's looking for you in the sky. The Bright Dawn Archipelago is consuming itself in civil war. There's rumors of beams of burning light, and the midwives there have all been taken hostage, likely under interrogation. Shit. Those idiots are just off the coast of the mainland. If we let this spread, then all the work I've done in Miru, Greenstone, and the Gold Lands will be for nothing. Jasper curses before thinking. The carving of the portal pillars. What's the progress? We finished the first half of 2 sets and nearly finished the second. It will take another day, though. Shit, all right. So those green gems I got off the bodies of the Lux infiltrators, are they fully understood? Yes. We can communicate with them over a great distance. Our study of radios made it very easy to understand and even improve upon. Okay, I'm going to take one of them with me and use it to stay in contact with you girls. I'm heading out with Lady Allure and her retinue to rush to the islands and either reinforce whatever efforts the midwives already have up and running or effect a rescue. If anyone wants to know where I am, use the green stones to speak with me. Jasper explains before turning to Zavaya. Sorry, little lady, Daddy has to go to work. What did you call yourself? She demands. Daddy, one of the many titles for the male parental figure. Excuse me, he says, giving her a slight hug and a kiss on the brow before rushing off, leaving a rather surprised Zavaya behind him. Daddy? She asks, somewhat confused, but not protesting it.